station of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Wisconsin.
Sunday afternoon from Citi Field in Queens, New York. Great to have you with us today. It's the Brew Crew and the New York Mets, the final game of this three-game series, and the Brewers are in salvage mode, and they're going to have to do it against one of the toughest right-handers in the game, the flame-throwing Noah Syndergaard. He'll match up against Chase Anderson, each making start number 9 of the season. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Flushing, Queens. Great to have you with us alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Ryan Braun returns to the lineup today. Sophia Minnaert will have a little more on that story in just a bit. But let's first dive into a little bit of what's going on with the Brew Crew right now. There are no moral victories in Major League Baseball, but 5 of the last 6 losses for the Brewers have been by 1 run. This team is putting up a good fight. Now they're trying to figure out how to push it across the finish line.
Yeah, they are. They're playing really good baseball, but just have not been able to get over the top. I mean, they fall behind a little bit, then they come back, and a bullpen has been very good all season long. One of the reasons why they have been close in games, that wasn't the story early in the season. The starting rotation was getting beat up pretty bad. Those guys are starting to pitch very well. Brewers just need some more offense. I mean, a lot of these one-run losses have been low-scoring games, and you mentioned Ryan Braun back in that lineup. That should certainly help. The Brewers right now 7-7 in one-run games, and certainly, a break here or there, a base-running mistake, making a pitch rather than making a mistake is the difference between wins and losses in one-run games.
Back-to-back one-run losses for the Brewers. The walk-off yesterday by David Wright. And now we're set up for the finale of this series. The big bat is back. Ryan Braun returns. Sophia has more on his comeback when we continue after this from Flushing, Queens.
On Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. Sunday baseball here at Citi Field, where the Brewers are looking to avoid their first ever sweep against the Mets here at Citi Field, and they will have some help with the big bat of Ryan Braun back in the lineup for the first time since Tuesday. The season numbers for him, he is among the National League leaders in average with .364. Good afternoon from Citi Field. I'm Sophia Minard, and yesterday was a significant day for Braun as he was able to take batting practice on the field for the first time after missing 6 of his last 7 games and 4 straight with lower back tightness. So he was able to take batting practice. We saw him come into the on-deck circle for a possible pinch hit appearance, but did not appear in yesterday's game. So here's what Craig Counsell said about the improvement Braun has made to make it back into the starting lineup here today.
Yeah, he was just very positive coming in this morning. He's feeling better, so. I think yesterday he made the most progress probably yesterday. He felt really good yesterday, and it just continued today.
After dropping a pair of 1-run games, including a walk-off win for the Mets yesterday, Braun's return could not come at a better time for the Brewers as they'll be facing another tough right-hander in Noah Syndergaard. And Chase Anderson is coming off of his no-hit bid against the Cubs. It'll be a terrific pitching matchup in the series finale between the Brewers and the Mets coming up here at Citi Field.
The finesse against the power. Chase Anderson against Noah Syndergaard as Ryan Braun returns to the lineup here this afternoon. It's game 3 of this series, the Brewers and the Mets. Mets have won the first 2 very close games. Both have been comeback wins for New York. And now the Brewers trying to salvage this final game before they head to Atlanta to start a 3-game series with the Braves on Tuesday. Craig Counsell and the Brewers ready to get it going today. The Brewers on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. And a much better lineup for Counsell today with his big bat in there. Ryan Braun currently second in the league in batting average, hitting .364 coming into play today. He's fourth in the league in on-base percentage. And the Potawatomi lineup has Jonathan Villar, Scooter Gennett, Ryan Braun at the top. Counsell then has Lucroy, Nieuwenhuis, and Perez in the middle of the batting order, with Presley, Flores, and Chase Anderson rounding it out. Note Ramon Flores is playing first base today, and no Chris Carter in the lineup. And there you see Noah Syndergaard, the big 6'6" right-hander, the flamethrower for the Mets. And note the Mets are decked out in their Sunday home game specials. These are the 30th anniversary throwbacks of their 1986 World Series champion team. Vintage look, Rock.
Yeah, and he's all at 23 years old, Noah Syndergaard. You can see his numbers, incredible numbers for him. That earned run average of 219, fifth in the National League. He doesn't walk anybody. He's sixth in strikeouts. So, 23-year-old, the flamethrower out on the mound. He's won his last two in a row, and the Mets are really been carried by their starting pitching bullpen as well. And let's check out the defense behind Syndergaard today, brought to you by Menards. Conforto, Cespedes, and Granderson, same outfield in all three games of the series. David Wright back at third base. He got the big hit yesterday in the ninth inning. Cabrera Walker up the middle, Campbell at first, and Rivera behind home plate.
Now David Wright with the walk-off, swinging away on a 3-0 pitch from Michael Blazek. Only his third career hit on a 3-0 pitch, and it was a game winner yesterday as the Brewers lose 5-4. First walk-off for the Mets of the season, and the ninth in the career of David Wright, which is a franchise record. There you see the four-man umpiring crew. The home plate umpire is Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief. Lance Barksdale over at first. Jim Wolf, older brother of former Brewer pitcher Randy Wolf, is at second. And Adrian Johnson will be at third. All the pieces put in place. They've got a good crowd filing in still on a Sunday afternoon at Citi Field. Jonathan Villar will lead off, and we're ready for baseball today. Great to have you with us. Mets and the Brewers for the third game. We're going to see the Mets pretty quickly here. They're coming to Miller Park on their next road trip. First pitch of the ball game from Syndergaard comes in at 98 miles an hour. It's low, and off we go today.
You better dial it up quickly with this guy out there. He doesn't walk many, so you got to go up there ready to swing, and he throws hard.
Bit of a modified windup from Syndergaard. Just one little rock backwards, but he appears that he's in the stretch always, even without base runners. But it does give you that little bit of rock backwards before his pitch when nobody is on. But he's generating all that power in a much cleaner, simpler look from what we saw of him in the minor leagues. He came to the Mets in a trade from the Blue Jays. They traded R.A. Dickey, the reigning Cy Young Award winner that season. That was back in December of 2012, leading up to the 13 season.
Yeah, talk about that delivery for Syndergaard. I guess when you're 6'6", the less moving pieces you have in your delivery, the better off you are. I mean, all arms and legs. I mean, that delivery can get out of whack, and he's very short, not a lot going on, but still generates enough velocity.
2-2 the count. First batter of the game, Jonathan Villar, a swing and a nice play by Syndergaard, and that's how the day begins. 1-3 on the putout. Syndergaard is from Texas. He's from Mansfield, Texas, which is in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, and he wears number 34 in honor of Nolan Ryan. Every kid growing up in Texas, even though Nolan was at the end of his career, he's still an icon there for hard-throwing right-handers and pitchers, and Syndergaard honors him by wearing that number. And of course, Nolan Ryan played for the Mets. He was originally drafted by New York and famed scout Red Murph.
Nolan never had hair like that, though.
No. Not many on the planet have hair like that, actually.
Well, his pitching partner, Jacob deGrom, does. That last pitch at 99 miles an hour. Yeah, Syndergaard has swing and miss stuff. I mean, the third most swings and misses in Major League Baseball. And there's one right there, that big fastball. And He locates it well. He's third in the major leagues in the fewest walks, only 9 coming in.
There you see the pitch arsenal and the breakdown of how he delivers it. He's actually started to throw the slider a lot more over the last couple of years. That was not a pitch that he threw much of until he got to the big leagues. Mostly a fastball, curveball, changeup pitcher, but he added that slider, and he throws his slider as hard as any starting pitcher in the game on average. Matter of fact, all 3 of his main pitches, fastball, slider, and change, as far as velocity goes, are the highest rated velocity on average than any other starter in the National League. He averages 98 miles an hour on his fastball. He's nearly 92 miles an hour on his slider, and his changeup is at 90 miles an hour. Those numbers are courtesy of Fangraphs. He's got Jeanette in a 2-2 count. And Scooter over to third base, and it's booted by David Wright. So Jeanette will reach on an error by Wright, and a base runner with 1 away.
Yeah, backhand play, pretty easy for David Wright. He's always been a good defender, but just kicked that one. And the Brewers able to get a base runner here in the first inning. About as routine as it gets for a guy like Wright, but not able to handle it.
Well, it gives the Brewers a base runner, and here comes Ryan Braun. A welcome addition back to the starting lineup. Braun has played in just 1 game over the last week. Had a wrist injury that knocked him out 2 games last weekend against the Padres. He came back on Tuesday against the Cubs, actually had an RBI hit in that game. And then he's been out ever since. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, with a bad back, that surgically repaired back, giving him some trouble.
Yeah, Brewers are going to have to keep an eye on that all season long, giving him days off. Of course, I don't think the Brewers would prefer to have to give him 4 days off in a row, although the Brewers playing some pretty good baseball. He's going to make a difference in these 1-run games, as we talked about it when we came on the air.
Only Daniel Murphy with a higher batting average, the former Met, now playing for the Nationals. And Braun is a little late, but you could understand at 98 miles an hour and not having seen much big league pitching in a week.
And really not taking that much batting practice either. I mean, he did yesterday, but that's been it. And I don't think Ed Cedar can throw 99 miles an hour. Throwing BP.
Braun's had an amazing knack of performing well after setbacks or layoffs. Even in spring training, he always has success early in games or when he's had a few days off. We'll see how it goes today. Syndergaard tried a breaking ball and misses. By the way, that error by David Wright is the first error of the series for either team. Mets have been a very good defensive team. That's only their 18th error of the season, second fewest in Major League Baseball. One ball, 2 strikes on Braun. Jeanette at first, reaching on that E5.
Yeah, Braun just a tick behind that fastball, 99 that time. And now the more he sees it, the better chance he has of getting the bat head out on it. I'm going to see too many changeups out of Syndergaard against right-handers. He'll save those maybe later on for the lefties.
Syndergaard bursting onto the scene last year. Only Braun and Jeanette have seen him, have faced him. Braun just 3 career at-bats against him and has the only hit. Scooter Jeanette's the only other guy that had faced him, and he's now 0 for 3 against the big right-hander. Got his first Major League win against the Brewers last season back in May of 2015. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jeanette with a good lead at first. And Braun takes low, 2-2. Third consecutive 2-2 count for Syndergaard to start the game. And Braun rolls one, right, cuts it off. Throw to first is in time for the out.
You just tell that David Wright's not moving around like he was able to do a couple of years ago. That back's still giving him a little bit of a problem, but still it's good enough to be out there. But just a little bit slower on the draw, trying to get to that baseball and getting it out of his glove. Just check it out. A little, kind of taking his time a little bit to make a good throw, and gets Braun by half a step.
David Wright did miss the first game of this series. More of a maintenance day for him. He plays 2 or 3 and then he sits for 1. Mets are hoping to get 130 games out of him this year. Spinal stenosis was the diagnosis for David Wright last year. Very serious injury. It's impressive that he's trying to continue to play. His day starts long before the game begins, trying to get him ready for the game. A lot of time in the athletic training room.
Yeah.
Lucroy takes a strike from Syndergaard. Jonathan hitting cleanup today. No Chris Carter in the starting lineup.
Yeah, one big bat in, 1 out. Chris Carter getting today off.
Lucroy's hit cleanup more than any other hitter the Brewers have on their roster. Jonathan's hit third as well on occasion throughout the season. Wasn't too long ago they were actually, the Brewers were considering hitting Lucroy leadoff. Well, they didn't have the traditional leadoff hitter because of his high on base percentage. And Lucroy lines one into center field, a base hit. And around third coming home, Jeanette. No throw from Cespedes. And the Brewers strike first. It's an RBI single by Lucroy. It comes with 2 outs. 1-0 Milwaukee.
Boy, Luke doing a good job centering on that fastball from Syndergaard. Now, Luke was 0 for 5 in yesterday's ball game. Got everything up in the air, able to center on that slider that was out away from him, up in the strike zone. And Jeanette, who reached on the air, is able to come around to score. So an unearned run for the Brewers against Syndergaard here in the first.
Snaps an 0 for 12 for Jonathan Lucroy. He had been in a slump over the last few games. Good way to start the day for Lucroy as Kirk Neuenhuis takes a strike. Strike 2. Quickly ahead of Neuenhuis is Syndergaard. Kirk, the former Met, he received his National League championship ring on Friday before the first game of the series. Big part of their World Series run last year. Player off the bench, good role player for New York. But he's finding himself in the starting lineup. He's essentially taken over as the everyday center fielder with the Brewers.
The 22nd game out in center field for Kirk Neuenhuis, and he's been swinging the bat pretty well. Took an 0 for yesterday.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Lucroy takes off, and the throw to second doesn't matter. Strikeout at the plate. So the inning ends at home plate on a backwards K. First strikeout for Syndergaard, but the Brewers score. They get an RBI single from Lucroy. It gives Chase Anderson the lead. He's coming off a gem against the Cubs. Lucroy and the Brewers. Luke with a 2-out RBI single off Syndergaard gives Milwaukee the lead. That is an unearned run against Syndergaard. How about the Mets lineup? It's courtesy of Potawatomi. Terry Collins has Granderson right and Conforto at the top of the order. Cespedes hit a 2-run home run yesterday, has 3 hits in this series. He's followed by Walker and Asdrubal Cabrera, and then it's Eric Campbell, Rene Rivera, and Noah Syndergaard rounding out the starting 9 that will face Chase Anderson, coming off not just one of the best games of the year for a Brewer starter, but perhaps the greatest start of Chase Anderson's major league career.
Yeah, he was outstanding. He beat the Cubs 4-2, 8 2/3, 3 hits, couple of runs, gave up a couple of home runs his last inning, but Chase was outstanding. Took a no-hitter into the 8th, broken up the first hitter, but making start number 3 against the Mets. He made 2 starts last year. He's 0-1.
Anderson will face Granderson to start it. Granderson hit a leadoff home run yesterday, and Chase is in there with a strike. For Granderson, it was his 4th leadoff home run of the year, his 15th as a Met, and it was his 39th overall. Significant because only Jimmy Rollins, among active major league players, has more leadoff home runs than Curtis Granderson. Rollins now with the White Sox. Gets under one, a pop-up. Shift was on, VR back in the grass. He'll call it. And there is out number 1.
Yeah, well, let's check out the Brewers defensively. Brought to you by Menards. Good to have Ryan Braun back in the outfield. He's in left, Neuenhuis in center, Presley in right. Perez, VR, Jeanette, and Ramon Flores getting his first start for the Brewers at first base. So the lefty over there at first base. Jonathan Lucroy once again behind home plate, making start number 35 behind home plate.
Braun back in the lineup, back in left field this year, moving from right to left. Very comfortable there. He prefers that position. And Flores, after his 3 RBI game yesterday, starting for Carter at first. The versatile Ramon Flores. And here's the star from last night. He's been getting his fair share of boos here at Citi Field this season, especially in that Washington series. But he turned them all around last night. He swung at a 3-0 pitch and lined one into right center to win the game on a walk-off single.
Yeah, wasn't expecting the 3-0 swing, but in the bottom of the 9th inning, bases loaded, and David Wright, after getting ahead 3-0, whistles one into the gap out in right center, sent the Mets home happy. Another 1-run loss for the Crew in yesterday's ball game. Boy, these things have been piling up. 5 of 6 losses, and not in the last 10 games have been decided by 2 or fewer runs.
And it also meant the Brewers lost their 3rd extra inning game in a week, in a calendar week. Saturday to Saturday, 3 extra inning losses. They lost a 5-hour 12-inning game against the Padres Saturday prior. And then Wednesday against the Cubs, another 5-hour 13-inning loss against Chicago. And then, of course, the 9th inning loss yesterday. There's a ground ball to third. Perez makes the play. I say extra innings, I beg your pardon. Right. A walk-off hit for David Wright and the Mets.
And Chase Anderson very good against the Cubs, as we talked about. And one of the reasons, really relying a lot on the fastball and using it on the inside part of the play, getting a lot of jam shots from the Cubs. A very good offensive team, and really had him off balance with that plan. Executed it beautifully. And he had a really good curveball, one of his best curveballs of the season.
Here's Michael Conforto with 2 outs. And they'll ask if he goes. He does. I think it was a called strike anyway. No appeal necessary. Conforto, talented young hitter. Got off to a great start in the first month, and he hits that one high and deep. That is way back. Wow, Conforto with a booming home run, and the Mets tie it up on Conforto's 8th home run of the season. There is a whole lot to like about this kid's swing. He is moving into that star status quickly here in the Big Apple.
They tried to come in on him and left it right down the middle of the plate, and Conforto hit it a ton. 12th home run allowed by Chase Anderson this year. You can see that pitch leaks right down the heart of the plate. As soon as he makes contact, Chase Anderson knows that's a home run. That is a big fly for the left-hander.
Pure swing.
Yeah, right down Main Street right there, and Conforto ties it up.
Now Yoenis Cespedes takes strike one. Yesterday, Conforto had a hit. He had a double. Conforto gave the Mets the lead on Friday with a 6th inning 2-run homer. In both games, the Brewers have surrendered leads in the 6th. And it was Conforto's 2-run homer Friday. It was Cespedes' 2-run home run yesterday in the 6th inning. A little flare. It's caught by Jeanette. Got in on the hands. He muscles one out to Scooter to retire the side. But Conforto ties it. All even at 1 as we go to the 2nd. Conforto, a 2-out 1st inning home run by the young slugger, and Noah Syndergaard back on the mound. Syndergaard, you see where he ranks in the National League. He is striking out a ton of batters. He's 5th in ERA coming in, and he'll be moving up the strikeout list with his 9th start of the day today. Clayton Kershaw leads the league in Ks with 88, but Syndergaard is typically good for a minimum of 5 or 6 strikeouts per game, and he's going to be one of those pitchers, if he stays healthy, that is always going to challenge for the strikeout tally in the National League.
Yeah, a lot of swings and misses, and doesn't walk too many. Only 1.5 walks per 9 innings, and that's second best in the National League. Only Kershaw is better.
He's facing Hernan Perez to start it. Getting the start at 3rd base today. No Aaron Hill in the starting lineup. Perez starting to get more playing time. Does have a hit in the series. It came late on Friday. And that's off the end of the bat. Falling fast. It is down. A base hit. Perez with a single. Just dumps one into right field. Second hit for the Brewers off Syndergaard, and a lead man on in the 2nd.
Yeah, both hits coming on the same pitch. I mean, it looked like a slider. Well, again, that was a fastball. So Perez able to just kind of soften the approach a little bit. You spread out. You can't overswing with a guy throwing as hard as he has been. And you just try and play pepper with him. He'll provide the power.
Speaking of pepper, did you know pepper is making a comeback in Major League Baseball? Alex Presley takes a ball low. Yeah, I was reading a story about Dave Roberts in Los Angeles, the new manager of the Dodgers, and he's bringing back pepper. He's encouraging his young hitters, Trace Thompson being one of them. He's encouraging them to play pepper, try to feel the bat head, try to work on their hands on the defensive side. That is a lost art, the game of pepper. I would love to see that come back.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of pepper growing up. That was the only way I could get a hit.
I thought you were talking about the culinary version of pepper.
No.
Yeah, I get you, but
Not
you know,
the spice.
It's 2 or 3 guys. I mean, they're out there with their gloves, and you have a hitter, and you kind of soft toss into the hitter, and it's all about bat control. You try and hit the ball to each one of the fielders, so you're keeping your eye on the baseball. You're trying to hit it on the sweet spot and kind of guide the baseball to different directions, different guys. So yeah, it helps.
Helps stay on top of the ball if you hit a pop-up, or if one of the fielders catches the ball before it hits the ground and they replace the hitter.
Right.
It's a really cool game. It's a fun game.
Then you can incorporate flip into that too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Flip's a good drill. You need to give us an instructional one day when we get back home on the art of pepper.
Me and Dave, as soon as his back's better, we'll do it.
Okay.
How's that?
Sounds good. Alex Presley into right center field, got a charge on it, but there to make the play is Cespedes. They had him shaded into left center, not thinking Presley could pull, and he is retired for the first out. Now to bring up Ramon Flores now, batting 8th today, and a Major League first for him last night. His first career Major League homer, and it was a big one. It gave the Brewers the lead. It was a 2-run shot. They were so excited for him on that bench.
Yep, a 2-out 2-run home run in the second inning for Flores.
Brewers have faced some very tough pitching in this series. Steven Matz on Friday, he went 7. Jacob deGrom went just 5 yesterday. The Brewers hung 4 runs on him, and a high pitch count for deGrom. And now they get Syndergaard today. And yet in the first 2 games they have had late leads.
After having to deal with that Chicago Cubs starting rotation. So yeah, they've been facing some pretty good pitching. They've been playing very good baseball, error-free for the most part baseball, and just not able to get over the hump. You know, it's a pitch here or maybe a big hit there, and they win some of these games. But you know, these 1-run losses, they get under your skin. They keep you up at night.
There goes the runner Perez, and Flores will foul it away. And like last night, the final at-bat losses are the ones that hurt you. Like the extra inning games against the Padres and the Cubs, and then last night with David Wright in the bottom of the 9th.
And that's a guy that loses the most sleep, the manager. What he thinks about what he could have done to turn things around. But it comes down to the players executing, pitchers making their pitches, and when you do that, you start turning those 1-run losses into wins.
Here's a 1-2. Flores takes a called strike 3, a bender in there, and a good one from Syndergaard. Well, that's almost unfair. Throwing 99 miles an hour, and then he flips that curveball in there.
And curveballs are typically about what, 77, 79 miles an hour. He throws his about 83. So he gets a lot of break on. You can see it going straight down, and that's a nice pitch. It's the velocity that got Flores there, not so much the big break. He throws his changeup about 88, 89 miles an hour.
Syndergaard gets ahead of the Brewer pitcher, Chase Anderson. Still looking for his first hit of the year. Chase Anderson's career batting average starts with a 0. So he's got a lot of making up to do. He's 0 for 13 this year with 8 strikeouts. He does run well if you're looking for a silver lining. That little Tapper to third base will give him a chance at an infield hit. Got to have something in your favor, right?
Yeah.
He almost beat out a ground ball in the last game against the Cubs. He was booking it down the line. They just got him. As a matter of fact, I asked him, did he think that was in the bottom of the 7th inning? Remember, he made the last or the second out. He sprinted down the first base line, almost had a hit. The next batter was VR, who swung at the very first pitch. Anderson didn't even get a chance to sit down.
Right. Yep.
And then he went right back to the mound, and on the first pitch of the 8th, he gave up his first hit of the game to Ben Zobrist. Maybe it was all chasing that elusive first hit. Syndergaard strikes him out. 3 strikeouts for Noah Syndergaard. All tied at 1. The Mets are coming up.
Field, and Chase Anderson, his last time out against the Cubs, it was a terrific outing for him. He had a perfect game going into the 6th, a no-hit bid going into the 8th, and he finished the day with 8 2/3 of 2-run ball. And Anderson said that coming off of 4 straight losses, he really just went back to the drawing board prior to his start against the Marlins. And so he said it was really just about getting back to the basics, pitching with tempo. He said getting ahead in counts and attacking the zone. He thought that Miami start was a good step in the right direction, and then everything just clicked for him there in that start against the Cubs. And he said certainly the defense helped as well. Kirk Neuenhuis made a terrific catch, and he said it was one of those days, he said, where you had your best stuff, but also the team made some terrific plays behind him, and it was just a great team win.
And again, I mean, when you talk to a pitcher and he says going back to basics and being aggressive, it's establishing fastball. And that's what he did very well. Not just throwing the fastball, but throwing it in on the hitters. Righties and lefties. He had a good curveball. And it's not just, being able to throw the fastball, putting it where he wants it. And that's what he was able to do against the Cubs.
Facing Neil Walker to start this 2nd inning.
And when you throw 90, 91 miles an hour, you can't make mistakes like he did to Conforto in the 1st inning.
Yeah, Conforto hit a long home run deep to right center. 2nd home run for Conforto in this series. Walker's got big power as well. 10 home runs. He's in the top 10 in the league in that category. Anderson's outing, maybe the 2nd greatest feat of the week for the Brewers traveling party. The other, maybe Sophia Minnaert and her hamburger consumption last night.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I mean,
Impressive.
what a show she put on. She should actually go into competitive eating. How many hamburgers did you have last night, Sophia?
BA, I regret to inform you, I had 2, but in my defense, Vito, Brent, and B-Mick all backed me up, and they had 2 as well, so I just had to keep up.
Those are full-grown men, though, Sophia.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
With big bellies.
Right.
They were delicious.
Well done.
Little soft liner out to Jeanette for the out. And the first out of the inning. Chase Anderson in that terrific start. Now, he had never had and still has never had a complete game in the major leagues. He was one strike away from a complete game shutout. He ended up going 8 2/3. He did give up back-to-back home runs to Jason Hayward and Chris Bryant in the 9th inning, but it was just a terrific performance, and one that Anderson needed, and one that the Brewers needed to see from one of their starting pitchers, especially with all of the extra inning games.
Yeah.
And a day to save the bullpen. As a matter of fact, the next night Jimmy Nelson started, and Jimmy went 8 innings.
Yeah, starting rotation has been much better. 110 pitches for Chase his last time out. 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. You know, when Brent, our producer, said he's got video support, I thought he was talking about the hamburgers.
Oh, from last night.
Right,
I see what you mean.
I'm kind of disappointed.
He had video of Chase Anderson's outing, not the incredible crush by our sideline reporter.
Yeah,
Sophia
that would
Bennett.
have been interesting.
She ate her weight in hamburgers last night. We fully endorse them. They're some of the best. If you're ever in New York, just go to the La Meridian Hotel. There's one of the great hamburger joints in all of the country. There's a strike to Cabrera, Asdrubal Cabrera. The New Met shortstop. Had an RBI single yesterday. 2-2 the count. And he got him. Anderson goes up the ladder with a fastball. Strikes him out for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, get him to chase. You get ahead in the count and you get him to go after pitches out of the strike zone. That pitch let her high, and Cabrera swings right through it, right underneath and behind it. And that fastball for Anderson getting up as high as 92 so far today.
One thing Chase said about his start against the Cubs, a very good hitting team, one of the most prolific offensive teams in the major leagues, as a matter of fact, is that he relied on his fastball, as you mentioned, Rock. He trusted that his fastball and the location of his fastball would set up all of his off-speed pitches and not the other way around. And it's easy for a guy like Anderson, who doesn't throw so hard, to get things backwards and start to rely too much on your off-speed stuff.
Back to basics.
That's a line shot left field. Braun on the run, and he'll run it down. Makes the play on Campbell. And a 3-up, 3-down inning for Chase Anderson. To the top of the order we go. We go to the third. Jonathan VR. He's been hot. He'll lead off. We're going to lose our sideline reporter for a few innings here, I can see.
Yes, he's already gone.
Grilling up the burgers at Citi Field on a Sunday afternoon, all tied at 1 here. The Brewers and the New York Mets. Our Carsoup.com trivia. Who are the 6 MLB players to appear and speak on the TV sitcom Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Wow. 6 MLB players. I didn't know there were 6. I can only remember 1. And he's not here today.
I can think of 3.
Keith Hernandez is the guy that comes to mind first. Syndergaard facing VR. There's Keith Hernandez, not the real Keith Hernandez. He's off today.
Yeah, Ron Darling's here.
VR takes a strike, quickly 0-2. Well, we always love coming to New York. Great television broadcast team with Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling. They're always a lot of fun. Say congratulations to Ron Darling. His son graduated from college yesterday. He went to the graduation ceremonies at Madison Square Garden, and that's why he was not here yesterday. Keith filled in for him.
Always a great day in every family. Ron Darling just got it raised, didn't he?
Yes, he did. And a swing and a miss as VR strikes out.
No more Collins to pay for, at least for him anyway.
4th strikeout for Syndergaard, 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
Swing and miss stuff. I mean, he's got the 3rd most swings and misses on his pitches of any pitcher in baseball. And look at the location, just off the outside corner and a little bit too close to take. You just don't have a lot of time to react. I mean, when he's throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, you really can't sit back and watch pitches come in, and you don't have a lot of time to determine if they're in the strike zone or not.
Great image of when we say Bayou. You see how late VR was with that swing. The ball was by him, almost into the glove. Scooter Gennett with 1 away. There's a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Syndergaard is a strike thrower. Rock mentioned his strikeout numbers. And for power pitchers, normally power pitchers will give up walks. But Syndergaard, at least early in his major league career, this is year 2 now, has not been that way. There were back-to-back starts last year for Syndergaard where he struck out 9 and did not walk a batter last season.
Well, he's done that twice this year.
He's got Gennett in a hole. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Syndergaard with 4 Ks gives him 69 for the season. Quickly climbing the list. He started 6th in the National League in strikeouts. 5th in ERA. He's won 4 games this season as well. As Gennett into center field. Cespedes got a late break and he cannot get there. And Gennett stopped running.
I'm not sure why.
Almost had a play at first base. And you could see what Gennett just mouthed to Carlos Subero. Said, I thought I fouled it off. He never saw it.
Yeah. And with Cespedes' arm, I mean, it, kind of interesting. Look at him looking behind it. He doesn't even realize it's in fair territory. And then he gets on his horse and makes sure he beats it. That was pretty close. I tell you, that's happened. I've seen that. That's happened to me. I'm not sure where it is. Look at Cespedes.
On the run.
Yeah, right on the money.
And it is interesting that Eric Campbell was not even on the bag at first. That's just something you're not expecting. Gennett has a hit. A man is on for Braun.
Hey, you make contact, you know, you kind of feel, you can sense when you hit a foul ball, you know, you get it right underneath, hit the bottom of the baseball, and he's looking all around, and all of a sudden it's in center field, and kind of panic sets in. I better get running.
Fastball, and Braun fouls it back, down 0-2 now.
Not exactly the kind of guy you want to face coming off a back issue, right? I mean, when you have to dial it up so quickly. 99 miles an hour.
Ryan Braun has always been a player who looks forward to the challenge. He has had some of his best games against some of the best pitchers in the big leagues. Has never shied away from a matchup with an elite pitcher. And that one's in there, a called strike 3, a 98-mile-an-hour bullet.
Yeah,
and Braun takes the strike, 5th strikeout for Syndergaard.
Yeah, probably looking for something, maybe that slider away with an 0-2 count, but Syndergaard catches the bottom of the strike zone with a big fastball. So no sense in wasting one, getting plenty of the plate and right at the bottom of the zone.
So 2-men are out. Jeanette at first. And here's Jonathan Lucroy, who drove in a run with a 2-out single in the first inning. Another guy with his short swing can handle high velocity pitchers.
He got a slider his last time up and hit it into center field to drive in a run.
Lucroy had been in a slump. He was 0 for 12 before that single, dropping his batting average to around 290. Lucroy hit 3 home runs on the last homestand, and they came in consecutive games against San Diego. Jeanette at first. Lucroy takes a ball. 2-1.
35th game that Lucroy has started behind home plate. He's catching a lot.
That is a lot. Maldonado has only started 9 games this year. Brewers are playing their 44th game of the season. Two balls and a strike on Lucroy. In there. Boy, that is quick. I mean, that fastball is, you don't really get a sense of it on television, but seeing it live and from the release to the glove, from the catcher's glove, it's just a flash.
Yeah.
Crowd is up. They want to see another strikeout. He already has 5. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Jeanette takes off, and Lucroy strikes out to end the inning. Syndergaard strikes out the side. Brewers do get a single, but Noah's got 6 punch-outs already.
York, and Spring Madness is back, and it's even extended for an extra day this year. The Brewers host the Reds and Cardinals over Memorial Day weekend, and fans can save 50% on tickets, plus enjoy 414 concession specials Friday, May 27th through Monday, May 30th.
The Brewers looking forward to getting back to Miller Park. Still have business in Atlanta after this series with the Mets. Chase Anderson and Noah Syndergaard all knotted at one. Anderson starts his third inning of work. Anderson has given up a home run, the only hit he's allowed. Michael Conforto with a home run to deep right center in the first. Here's Rene Rivera. Mets are without their starting catcher, Travis d'Arnaud, has a shoulder injury. So Rivera and Plawecki are sharing the catching duties. This is the second start in the series for Rivera. Bounced around quite a bit. Once had a walk-off against Milwaukee as a member of the Padres a couple of seasons ago. He's normally up there to swing. He's a first ball hacker. And Anderson falling behind 2-1.
Yeah, just trying to establish that curveball now, and just misses the inside corner with that last one. That was a good pitch for him against the Cubs.
Now 3 balls and a strike. Rivera's not hitting much. Does have a homer. He's driven in 3. But he comes in with a batting average of 125. Full count. Rivera, a career .240 hitter. And a swing and a miss. Down he goes. Anderson strikes him out. Good comeback. Fell behind. Able to pick up his second strikeout of the game. That'll set up Syndergaard. It's one of the rare occasions where the 9-hole hitter is probably a bigger threat than the 8th place hitter. Syndergaard earlier in the season, just a few weeks ago in Los Angeles, hit 2 homers and drove in 4 runs in the same game.
Yep, in a 4-3 victory for him. That was against the Dodgers, and he hit 2 home runs and gave up 2 home runs.
Has doubled up his home run production from a year ago. Hit 1 last year. He drove in 4 and hit .209 last season. That is a high batting average for a pitcher. Syndergaard's got a big swing. I know the Mets, well, really the Blue Jays, when Syndergaard first signed, he was drafted by Toronto in the first round of 2010. And once players start to hit when they get to Double-A, there was a lot of concern that that golden right arm was going to be exposed because he's a left-handed hitter. As he strikes out, and back-to-back Ks for Anderson, but they've allowed him to hit left-handed, but he does wear that brace on his lead elbow.
And make sure if he gets hit on that elbow, it doesn't hurt too badly with that pad over there.
Now Anderson has struck out 3 of his last 4. Syndergaard is gone quickly to the top of the order now, and Curtis Granderson. Starts him with a hook. That's decked out in their 1986 throwback uniforms.
Good look, isn't it?
They celebrate the 30th anniversary of their World Series title. Davey Johnson's Mets. Well, some great players on that team. Doc Gooden, Keith Hernandez, Darryl Strawberry, Ron Darling. Gary Carter, the late Gary Carter.
Right.
What a team.
I was thumbing through the Mets media guide a couple of days ago, and you know, the '69 amazing Mets.
Yeah.
Gil Hodges, that was the Mets' first winning season. They won 100 games. They won the World Series.
Granderson punches one into center field. He was off balance, but able to get the barrel on it. And it's a 2-out single for the Mets leadoff hitter. The Mets an expansion team and one of the worst seasons ever. 62.
120 losses. Hey, they had 7 consecutive losing seasons. Then they win the World Series.
Pretty quick turnaround, right?
Yeah.
7 years.
Tom Seaver, Jerry Kuzman, John Matlack, that gang, and
matter of fact, the Mets colors, the orange and blue, are a combination of the Brooklyn Dodgers, the blue of the Brooklyn Dodgers, who left New York after the '57 season, and the New York Giants left after that same season to go to San Francisco. So they took the Dodger blue and the Giants orange, and that's how the Mets came up with these colors.
And the Amazons.
David Wright with Granderson at first. 2 outs in the inning.
Remember the first manager in '62? Casey Stengel.
Casey Stengel.
Yep.
The older version of Casey Stengel, and he grabbed all the headlines to try to take the focus off of one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball history. We've had some great moments in this franchise, great players. It did not feel like the Mets were trending the right way here recently. They opened up this stadium in 2009. They had some really bad years and had some financial problems. Many of the ownership involved in the Bertie Madoff scandal. And as Wright into right, that's going to hang up for Presley, and that will retire the side. Mets made it to the World Series last year. They're trying to repeat, all tied at 1.
Game as we head to the 4th, and our greater coverage of baseball brought to you by T-Mobile. Some division news for you. We told you Jason Hayward, the right fielder for the Cubs, left Friday night's game after crashing into the wall, and he will miss 3 to 5 games with a bruise on that right side. The .225 average for him, so the Cubs will be without him for a few days. Jackie Bradley Jr., center fielder for the Red Sox, he had a terrific day yesterday against Cleveland, extending his hitting streak to 26 games, best in the big leagues. He is hitting .342 with 8 home runs on the season, and Jose Fernandez turned in 6 innings of 1-run ball with 9 strikeouts, and he continues to dominate at home for the Marlins. 21-1 record, impressive in just 31 starts.
Yeah, that is amazing, right, Sophia? 21 out of 31 home starts he has won, coming back from Tommy John surgery.
And we saw him when the Brewers were in Miami to play the Marlins. He was dominant.
Kirk Neuenhuis leads off for the Brew Crew. Syndergaard coming off 3 strikeouts in the 3rd inning. Jackie Bradley Jr., by the way, walked in his first at-bat today for Boston. And right to be excited about a 26-game hit streak. But
yeah.
then you put it in perspective and think about Joe DiMaggio as Neuenhuis strikes out. That is yet another K for Syndergaard. So his last 6 outs have been via the strikeout. He's got 7 now.
And doing it fairly quickly. I mean, he's not messing around too much. I mean, he got Neuenhuis on 3 pitches. And he got him on a changeup. He threw 2 changeups to Neuenhuis. Then we started to mix it up a little bit. We said that he will throw the changeup to lefties.
Hernan Perez, who singled off Syndergaard in the second. Our friends at Yahoo on their Twitter page, they're doing a pretty cool daily update on what Joe DiMaggio did in his season of 56 consecutive games with a hit. So it's the 75th anniversary of DiMaggio's hit streak, the longest hit streak in Major League Baseball history. And on this day was the 8th game of his streak. He had a base hit against the Detroit Tigers, and it didn't come till the 8th inning. And it was his final at bat. It's kind of cool to go through and daily relive DiMaggio's day.
This incredible 56 in a row. I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
I'm with you. Perez strikes out. 8 punch outs for Noah Syndergaard.
Eight punch outs and his pitch count in the 60s. There's that slider. I think it's a slider. It's tough to tell sometimes with this guy. And this guy says good stuff. It was a slider. A 4-pitch strikeout. He got Neuenhuis on 3 pitches.
The last 7 outs have been strikeouts. There was 1 hit in the middle of that grouping with Scooter Gennett's single. Alex Presley takes a strike. "12 out of 16 batters he's been ahead. Has been ahead to just about every hitter as well overall in the count.
Hasn't had a 3-ball count.
And he's got Presley 0-2. All tied at 1. Brewers got their run in the first, an unearned run. Syndergaard sitting on 8 strikeouts, and Presley able to lay off. 1-2 the count. If you're wondering, Syndergaard's career best, and it's a brief career, he just made it up to the big leagues last year. 13 is his career high for strikeouts in a game. That is certainly realistic today. We're only in the 4th. He's got 8.
Only had 12 this year in his second start against the Marlins. 12 punch outs, 1 walk against Miami, and a no decision.
One and two. We'll try it again. Presley trying to get on with 2 outs. Takes ball 2. Changeup from Syndergaard. That's faster than most fastballs in the big leagues.
Right.
And now Syndergaard will back off, wants to start over. You see that he works from the extreme first base side of the rubber. Tries to create a little angle for his breaking stuff. Right off Presley's foot.
Yeah, not sure it would really matter, would it? I mean, which side of the rubber he's on. He's,
right.
You would think that the angle would be better against right-handers on the third base side, but it's all about personal preference, what you feel comfortable with.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Presley hanging tough, fouls another one away. Well, he's giving Syndergaard a tough at bat.
Especially not a very big guy, but he can handle a fastball as long as he keeps it down in his zone. I think he's one of the better fastball hitters on the club, actually.
Presley stays alive. Alex does have a hit in this series. He's been starting just about every day in the absence of Braun. Today he's in right field with Braun returning to the lineup. He's been playing left field. In this series against the Mets, he's 1 for 7. Started the year in AAA. Brewers called him up second week of the season. He reaches out, lines one to Campbell. So a good at bat for Presley, but he's gone. It's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Syndergaard, and we're still tied at 1. Field in New York. Bottom of the 4th coming. The Mets will bat. Hey, a reminder that the Girls on the Run Greater Milwaukee Spring 5K, it's almost here, and there's still plenty of time to join Fox Sports Wisconsin. Sunday, June 5th, Bayshore Town Center in Glendale. As we inspire girls to be healthy and confident, you can register. Just go to foxsportswisconsin.com, click on the upcoming events tab. Michael Conforto will lead off for New York. Cespedes to follow, and then Neil Walker. All tied at 1. Conforto with a big swing. Conforto in the first inning launched one out of here off of Chase Anderson. I think what's interesting about his hot zone here in Fox Tracks is that he can go get that high fastball anytime.
And a little bit off the outside corner. We saw that in his first home run on Friday. Able to reach out and drive that ball the other way. I mean, anywhere in the strike zone, he's going to hit you hard.
One of the top prospects coming up through the Mets system out of Oregon State. Played in a College World Series. And one of those rare bats. Mets are very confident he is not only going to hit for big power, but he's going to hit for average as well in the big leagues. His average is up to 288. Now with 8 home runs, 24 driven in. Michael Conforto came up last year, was a big part of the Mets' success. Big part of their turnaround offensively. Remember, this was a team that had a tough time scoring runs. They brought Conforto to the big leagues. They made a trade with the Braves for Juan Uribe and Kelly Johnson, and then the big trade bringing in Yoenis Cespedes. A bit of an offensive makeover.
Yeah. And all did a pretty good job last year. Gotta love the sleeves he's got on today. Or at least sleeve, singular.
He's easy to find. Anderson lost him. Conforto draws the walk to start the fourth. And never a good thing to do with a hitter like Cespedes coming up. And Lucroy is going to take a quick trip to the mound to chat with Anderson.
Threw a lot of off-speed pitches to Conforto in that at bat. Actually on the full count to a changeup, just couldn't find the strike zone with it. Everything away to Conforto in that at bat. Remember, he took a fastball pretty much down the middle, hit it out of the ballpark his first time up.
Yoenis Cespedes now with a man on. He lined out to second in the first at bat. He caught it a little bit on the handle. Easy play for Jeanette. And that's where the Brewers are trying to pitch Cespedes. When they've had success, they've been able to bust him inside. And for a guy who pulls the ball as he does, most of his power is to the pull side. It doesn't quite make sense, but when you think about Cespedes and how close he stands to the plate, he loves to reach out on those outside corner pitches, especially off-speed pitches, and yank them to left.
Yeah, but you know what? We've seen him hit some really hard balls to Scooter Gennett over at second base in this series. I mean, bullets. That back foot, you know, very close to home plate. Watch the front foot. It's going to go toward Chase Anderson. There's a good slider that time.
It is interesting that of the 14 home runs for Cespedes, which is tied for the National League lead with Nolan Arenado of the Rockies, 9 of those 14 have come on off-speed pitches,
including yesterday's.
That was a changeup from Davies yesterday that Cespedes hit into the seats. A one-handed swing that tied the game at 4 in the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Lucroy sets up inside, and Cespedes gets jammed a little bit. Braun's got a long way to go. He can't get it. Overruns the ball. Now Conforto on his way to third. Cespedes to second with a double.
Somebody's got to catch that baseball. I think Ryan Braun playing deep on Cespedes. He saw the big swing, and it took him a while to come in. He's playing very deep and left. Just not able to get there, and that'll be a base hit right off the end of the bat. I think that's what froze Braun for a second. Watch how deep he is. He gets a late break on it and not able to make up room. And VR able to go get it. I think Conforto might have been able to score. You know, good hustle by VR to pick up that baseball in left field.
Well, you make a good pitch on a power hitter, and it results in a little flare double. Now the Mets threaten here. Tie game, 1 apiece. Second and third, nobody out for Neil Walker. Walker hit a little soft liner to Jeanette his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Tough spot for Anderson to be in. He's not a big strikeout pitcher typically. Does have 3 today, however. He could use one right now.
Now his goal has got to be to minimize the damage to 1 run here. See if he can, you know, avoid the big inning, keep Cespedes from scoring in this inning. That would be a moral victory.
No balls and a strike on Walker. The switch hitter takes one down and in. Good block by Lucroy. Walker in his first year as a Met, taking over the everyday second base job. Daniel Murphy now in Washington. Walker's been a slumping hitter this month. He's hitting 175 in the month of May coming in.
Yep, one hit in the series.
But
came yesterday.
His 10 home runs are second in all of baseball among second basemen. He's a little late. Anderson came back with a fastball, and the count evens at 2-2. Chase Anderson trying to climb the hill out of this inning. 2 on, a walk, and a double. A little flare double by Cespedes after Conforto reaches on the free pass. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That's a good curveball. He's got pretty good command of that pitch, keeping it down and in on Walker. And he's always been a good fastball hitter. He's always been a much better hitter, at least power-wise, from the left side, but that's kind of leveled out a little bit this year. He's got 3 homers from the right side.
A familiar opponent for the Brewers. They've seen a lot of him all his years in Pittsburgh. 2-strike pitch. Pulls another one foul. It stays 2-2. Walker has just 1 RBI in the month of May on that 1 home run in Colorado last week. Long at bat here, still 2-2. Second and third, Walker swings and misses. Down he goes. Anderson threw him a change.
That was a beauty. Well, there you go. There's the first step to getting out of this mess. Good changeup. That was a dandy on a 2-2 count. That was the best changeup he's thrown today. Just right on the edge. It would have been a marginal call, but he got Walker swinging, trying to protect the plate. Big movement on the changeup out in front.
Great look at it, way out in front. Bat passed through, and then the ball went by. The deception of Chase Anderson. And his signature pitch, the changeup. Big strikeout there. 1 away. Now Asdrubal Cabrera. Last year, Cabrera spent the season with the Rays. He was with the Nationals. He was traded from Cleveland to Washington in 2014. Twice an All-Star with Cleveland. He spent 8 years, 7+ with the Indians. Has been one of the great defensive shortstops in the game. He's a guy that, especially when he was an Indian, seemed to always end up on the highlight reels for defense. Now in his first year as a Met. 2 balls, no strikes. He got a fastball in there. Cabrera was late, and it goes to 2-1.
He got him on a high fastball his first time up. Pitch out of the strike zone for a strikeout. Being aggressive with Cabrera on a 2-0 count, coming inside, dangerous.
Cabrera had an RBI single yesterday. He pulled one. He's a switch hitter. And he rolls over that one. So a 2-2 count now.
Go back to the changeup, do the same thing to Cabrera that he did to Neil Walker.
And if we're talking about that, you wonder if Cabrera is thinking this is a changeup pitcher. He just saw what happened to his teammate in the last at bat. Does he sit on that changeup?
Dangerous to do that with 2 strikes. You sit on changeup, you really can't get to the fastball. We'll see what he throws.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Anderson deals, and he went with a fastball and backs him out.
Same pitch he struck him out on the first time at bat.
Full count. A walk's not the worst thing in the world. Give yourself a chance to turn a double play to get out of the inning. And Anderson is at the bottom of the Mets order. Eric Campbell is waiting to hit next. Let's see what he does. 3-2 pitch. And it's lined into right, a base hit. Conforto is in. Cespedes around third. The throw to the plate is late. And it is a 2-strike, 2 RBI single for Cabrera. The Mets have a 3-1 lead.
Yeah, I think he was sitting off speed. He threw him a curveball. Well, Cabrera able to center on it and driving a couple of runs. Well, you're right. A walk wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world, but curveball on a 3-2 count. And he lines it into right field. Cespedes runs pretty well. And 2 runs in.
A big hit for the Mets. Cabrera, after a ribby yesterday, picks up 2 more here today. And now the Mets on top with Syndergaard pitching well. Still just 1 out. Campbell in the air, right field. Presley will give it a look, and that'll slice into the seats.
Chase Anderson tried to strike him out the same way he got him the first at bat. Fastball up. Then he went to the curveball. They left it up just a little bit. But not a bad pitch if you think about it on a 3-2 count. Good job of waiting back by Cabrera.
Yeah, it seems like, and you said it, but when a hitter has that kind of swing on what is a pretty good breaking ball, you got to figure he's probably selling out for that.
In the back of his mind, he's thinking he's going to get one, whether it's the curveball or the changeup, doesn't matter. You're sitting off speed, you could hit either one.
But that's the essence of pitching, trying to disrupt the timing. Sometimes you can overthink it, of course, but you're always, as a catcher and as a pitcher, you're trying to think, well, what's this guy, what's he seen lately? Have we been able to change the eye level? Have we moved him in the box at all? That time Cabrera won the battle, driving in a pair.
Yeah, it's hard to nitpick and really poke criticism at a 3-2 curveball in that situation, because when you're throwing that pitch, you're saying, I doubt he's going to hit it, and if I walk him, so what? I'm going to get a ground ball double play. But it was just a good job by Cabrera to put the ball in play, hit it hard, tip your hat.
A big league hitter. They're good too. 0-2 pitch. There's the changeup again. Campbell lays off.
But I think if you go back to the last start, I think if he was pitching against the Cubs, he puts himself back 5 days, it's going to be a fastball again. He threw a lot of fastballs to the Cubs.
I think you're right.
He really did.
And he said as much.
Yeah. After
the game, he trusted his fastball more. But the one fastball that has to be in his mind is the fastball he tried to sneak by Conforto in the first inning. You never know, even though it's a different hitter, confidence is a crazy thing, and if you feel like the opposition is on your fastball, it makes you do other things. There's a fastball. Misses in. 2-2 the count now.
If you remember that start against the Cubs, first 2 innings, the Cubs hit some bullets. I mean, they really hit the ball hard. They were caught, though. It might have been a different situation for Anderson throughout that game had those hard hit balls by the Cubs early fell for base hits and extra base hits.
There's a swing and a miss. So Campbell strikes out for the second out. Back to the hook goes Chase Anderson. He picks up his 5th K. And 2 men are out now.
Yeah, there's a good curveball. You see the difference in location. The one that Cabrera hit and this one here. This was a much better located curveball. This is a 2-2 count.
So 2 outs, runner at first. And it'll be Rene Rivera, the Mets' 8th place hitter. who struck out in the third. Anderson racking up a lot of strikeouts today. Starts Rivera with a curve. On the move is Cabrera. He is an excellent base runner. As soon as it hit the dirt, he was ready to run, and he takes it on a wild pitch.
Yep, as soon as this ball got in the dirt, you mentioned, I mean, Lucroy didn't get away from him too far, but check out the secondary lead, and he is off like a shot as soon as that ball's in the dirt.
You don't take that base unless you're ready, unless you're thinking ahead and ready to run when it does hit the dirt.
Well, you got Syndergaard on deck, first base open.
Pickoff play, close and safe. Wow, Cabrera just got back. The Brewers might want to take a peek at this one.
And not sure where Cabrera is going to go. I mean, he's not going to be stealing third base. This is a good job by Anderson and VR.
Well, I think he missed him.
He might have missed him, but he had him. He had him dead to rights if he tags him the first time. Right there, if he gets him there, he's out.
I don't think he ever got the glove to him. Brewers are reviewing this. And now Craig Counsell says, let's take a look. He's going to issue a challenge here. This could end the inning if it's overturned.
Well, they must have a different angle than what we saw, because what we saw, you couldn't really tell. Maybe here, maybe this is the angle that they were looking at. Does he get him on the arm? Can't tell.
Call on the field is safe, so have to have evidence clear and convincing.
Does he get him there on the elbow? Hard to see.
Yeah, hard to know. Now, one of the clarifications Major League Baseball had is that the leather straps are not part of the glove. This might be the best angle. Let's see.
Here you go. Can you see if he makes tags him on the elbow? Does he get him? You can't really tell.
I mean, we're looking at this.
Yeah.
Multiple replays. Jim Wolf, the calling umpire in the near ground. The crew chief is Gary Cederstrom. He'll be the one to actually make the call in the sunglasses. He's waiting word from New York. And remember, unlike the NBA or what you would see in the NFL, the decision is out of the hands of the umpires here in New York.
Yeah, headsets aren't working. At least one of them.
There is an umpire. Matter of fact, there's an entire crew of umpires in Chelsea, New York. And word comes down, safe is the call. So it is confirmed.
Yeah, nothing we saw in the replay would indicate that they were going to reverse that.
1 minute 43 seconds on the review. Craig Counsell loses his challenge. Want to know the count on Rivera. Runner at second for the Mets. Rivera a swing and a miss. Can't afford to give up any more. 2 is going to be tough enough.
Yeah, pitch 32 coming up in this inning alone.
Does have 5 strikeouts. Asdrubal Cabrera with a 2 RBI single in this inning. Called strike. 1 and 2 now on Rivera. Into left, hooking, and that is going to hook foul. Count stays at 1 and 2. Mets are hoping to get Travis d'Arnaud back soon. Maybe by the end of the month or early in June. He's been out with a shoulder injury. excellent young catcher, Travis d'Arnaud. Came with Noah Syndergaard in the trade for R.A. Dickey. Mets sending Dickey to the Blue Jays. And they thought d'Arnaud was going to be the main piece, and he still is. He's only 27. But then they found a gem in Syndergaard. A potential ace. Those don't come around very often.
Cubs, Mets have a few of them. So, how good they've been.
A swing and a miss. A strikeout. Anderson gets Rivera. He has 6 strikeouts, but Asdrubal Cabrera with a big hit breaks a 1-1 tie. A 2 RBI single on a 2-strike curveball from Chase. Mets now lead. Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Hupy and Abraham. 1-800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham. Tell them you mean business. Always busy. Times Square, New York. Just a few miles from there. We're at Citi Field, home of the Mets. 3-1 New York now. They lead it after Cabrera drives in a pair. So the 6 Major League players to appear and speak on the TV sitcom Seinfeld. You know, Keith Hernandez was one. He's the most prominent of that group.
Yep, Danny Tartable, I know, was featured in an episode. Derek Jeter, Paul O'Neill. I had 4 of them. I didn't remember Roger McDowell or Bernie Williams.
All right. Good stuff. You're a Seinfeld aficionado.
They actually have a Seinfeld tour, a bus tour here.
Oh, is that right?
Go down by the some of the landmark, you know, Monk's Restaurant. I assume you hadn't taken that tour.
I have not. No, I have not. Fan of the show, but just not quite that level of fandom.
Yeah.
We did have a chocolate babka in the booth today for breakfast.
That's good.
Tremendous. Our buddy Russ, stage manager over on the Mets side, taking care of us. Now Ramon Flores leads all. Brewers trying to get something going here. They scored a run in the first on a 2-out RBI single by Lucroy. That was an unearned run, though. Jeanette scored the run. He reached on an error by David Wright. 8 strikeouts for Syndergaard. Turns it around. Wow, he hits him. And Flores will reach. Syndergaard takes a line shot.
Man, did it get him or the glove? Syndergaard doesn't want anybody coming out. He's fine. Get back behind home plate. Not even a trainer coming out. Let's see where it gets him. Does he get the glove up? I think a little bit of body, a little bit of glove, and a base hit for Ramon to lead off the 5th inning.
Right, hit it right on the nose. And that was, as Syndergaard follows through, that was off his right shoulder. or at least his right shoulder was exposed. Maybe he did get some glove on that. Anderson trying to get a bunt down, which is no easy task against somebody throwing this hard. This will be something to watch here. If that get him in the shoulder, it's got a chance to stiffen up a little bit. That ball was ripped coming back off the bat of Flores. Came out as fast as it went in.
Yeah, when you're 6'6" and you stride and let the baseball go, you're covering what, about 5 feet on a stride, and then your follow through.
There's a bunt, and it's bobbled by Campbell. Now the throw to first is just in time. Campbell had a notion to go to second, might have had a play there, but he couldn't quite get the grip.
No, he was thinking about a double play, and had he got rid of it right away, he probably would have had a play at second base. But Chase Anderson runs hard down that line, probably not a double play, but certainly would have been able to get the out at second.
So it'll be a sacrifice for Chase Anderson. Flores now in scoring position. Back to the top of the order. Here is Jonathan Villar. The Brewers did a good job yesterday with Jacob deGrom getting his pitch count up. And he was only able to go 5 innings. A good long inning here, and the Brewers could get Syndergaard out of this game earlier than the Mets want. He's at 80 pitches with 1 out in the 5th. Little tapper, fair ball. Rivera makes the play for out number 2. And Flores will advance to third now with 2 gone. Looks like the Mets ground crew put the heavy water on the area in front of home plate. That one just died.
Yeah, not sure why. There haven't been too many ground ball outs in the game. It's like yesterday. I think the Brewers had, what, 2 ground ball outs?
That's right.
When they were
one
hitting.
of those was a sacrifice bunt.
One was a bunt. One was a ground ball to, I think, first base. But a lot of fly ball outs, a lot of fly balls and strikeouts by the Brewers in this series.
See Scooter Gennett at the plate today, presented by Blaze Pizza. He's got a runner at third, 2 gone. And Gennett rolls over 1. Campbell's got it, flips to Syndergaard, and that's that. Brewers get an infield hit to start it. Syndergaard takes one off the shoulder, but another 0 on the board.
In the 5th, and you can support the Brewers Community Foundation this season by rounding up in the Brewers team store. By rounding up your bill to the nearest dollar and donating your change to BCF, you can help change the lives of kids and families in need all around the state.
All right, Sophia, thanks. Here we go to the Mets half of inning number 5. Noah Syndergaard gets a big hand. He'll lead off. Syndergaard, 5 innings, 1 run unearned. He has struck out 8. And the Mets lead it 3-1. Syndergaard on the first pitch, lines one down the right field line, foul. This guy's got a pretty swing.
Doesn't get cheated, does he? Seems as though he likes a low pitch. We saw a video of his 2 homers in Los Angeles, and they were kind of down in that location. You get it up with something on it, you might not see him, hit the ball as hard, but that's a nice balanced swing.
Fouls off the next pitch. No balls, 2 strikes on Syndergaard. I think he broke his bat.
And I noticed after he struck out in the 3rd inning, he slammed his bat down. He feels like he should get hits all the time. Kind of acts like a hitter, doesn't he? Wants a little bit of the glue stick, the claw. How many pitchers do that?
How many pitchers even have an extra bat? There's the 0-2. And that one's deep into right field. Presley is there. He makes the play. Boy, Syndergaard hit a rocket to right.
Change up, and that dangerous pitch with a guy like Syndergaard. Stay hard on his hands, a little bit up, change up. He hit it, he smoked it, but right at Presley.
Back with his starting pitching mates. Yeah, the Thor look is hot here in New York whenever Syndergaard is on the mound. Larger than life when you pitch for the Mets and you have a 100-mile-an-hour fastball and you've got the long hair. Ron Darling, the Mets analyst, calls him the Paul Bunyan of baseball. Noah Syndergaard. Granderson with 1 away. Had a 2-strike single in the 3rd inning. Anderson pitching in his 5th inning. He's down 3-1. Mets just scored twice in the 4th. Asdrubal Cabrera with a 2 RBI single. A lot of baseball today in the big leagues. The night game tonight, the primetime game this evening, is Giants Cubs.
The Giants won yesterday.
Yeah, Matt Cain got a win yesterday for
finally
San Francisco.
It's been last July, his last win.
Giants will have Bumgarner on the mound today against Kyle Hendricks. Cain beat Lester yesterday. First win for Matt Cain. Royals are starting to heat up a little bit. Kansas City won last night, and they lead 1-0 over the White Sox today. White Sox have cooled somewhat after their blazing start. Full count to Granderson. And it's up and away, ball 4. Granderson draws the walk. Second walk issued by Chase with 1 out.
And that's today's time of the game winner, Ski and Bev's Corner Pub in Lamira, Wisconsin, if they call the Brewers. And by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, they get 40 tickets to a Friday night game in the Miller Lite Beer Pen. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite. Ski and Bev's Corner Pub.
Everybody should know a guy like Ski. Should know a guy named Ski.
We do.
I know a couple of guys named Ski.
Jim Scalen.
Jim Scalen, former Brewers hitting coach. Now a scout with the Blue Jays. One of the great guys in all of baseball.
And
a guy named Dave Schabelsky who taught me how to run handheld camera.
Schabelsky?
We called him Ski.
Okay.
Dave Schabelsky. A madman. Every time I think of Ski, I remember the Ed Cedar story when he, in the middle of the night, got up to use the bathroom and actually walked out the door of the hotel as opposed to the bathroom door and
slammed shut.
Ended up being locked out. And now he's in the middle of the night, walking through the hallways saying, "Ski, ski, which room are you in?"
Yeah, that's hard to do, to lock yourself out of your hotel room.
There's Eddie. I mean, we stay in so many different hotels, configurations of rooms. It's hard to remember which one's the main door and which one's the bathroom door. I can understand it.
Of course, not many bathroom doors have a big deadbolt on it.
and a privacy please card hanging on it. Right. Good point.
But I can see how it could happen.
David Wright behind or ahead in the count 3-0. And there's a strike. Not swinging 3-0 this time. His walk-off hit yesterday came on a 3-0 pitch. Just the third 3-0 base hit of his career. He rarely swings 3-0, as a matter of fact. Got in on his hands. Long run for Presley. And he's got it for the out. Second out of the inning.
Good pitch that time by Anderson. Didn't want to leave one out over the plate. That's what happened yesterday in the 9th inning. That fastball away, and David Wright smoked it into the gap to end the game. He got in on his hands that time.
Which will bring up Michael Conforto now. He has scored twice. He's homered and he's walked. Tough out for Chase Anderson. And again, Anderson falls behind. Conforto is 23 years of age. Made it to the big leagues last year. He's had a lot of hype surrounding him. He was a first-round pick. He was the 10th pick overall 2 years ago, 2014. And he was in the big leagues last season as a 22-year-old. He was called up in late July. Made an immediate impact with the Mets last year. A wave and a miss.
Nice change up that time.
Boy, had him out in front. 2-2 the count.
Pitch that he walked on his last time up on a 3-2 count. Anderson threw him a changeup, missed. That's a better one right there. Might have been off the corner, but good speed on it.
2 balls, 2 strikes, a runner at first. 2 men are out, and Conforto takes outside. Count goes full. That means Granderson will get a head start. Conforto was having a tough postseason last year to start. Well, he got it going in the World Series. Had 5 hits in the last 3 games of the World Series. There goes Granderson. Conforto pops it up. Good pitch by Chase. Gets him out in front. That's going to be Flores to make the catch. Side is retired. So Anderson comes back, puts up a 0. Ryan Braun will lead off. Brewers are down a pair. 2 RBI single in the 4th inning broke the 1-1 tie. We're headed to the 6th. Hey, a reminder that this summer some of the biggest names in soccer converge on the U.S. It's the 100th anniversary of one of the world's biggest tournaments. Coverage of the Copa America Centenario begins June 3rd across the networks of Fox Sports. Ryan Braun will lead off for the Crew. We head to the 6th inning from Citi Field. Noah Syndergaard, Chase Anderson. First pitch curveball from Syndergaard. Braun returning to the lineup today. He's 0 for 2. Took a called strike 3 on a 98-mile-an-hour fastball his last time up. Grounded to third his first time. Even now 1-1. Powerball home run leaderboard for the Brewers. Carter sets the pace for the team with 13, and he's currently tied for third in the National League, just one off the National League lead for homers. And Ryan Braun with 7. Pick your numbers for Ryan Braun. He's had a lot of success this year in all the major categories that apply to today. He's hitting .378 during day games. He's up over .370 on the road. And he's hit over .400 in the month of May. There's that same fastball that struck him out his last time up.
Man, you figure it might take him a day or two to get back into the groove after, missing a lot of time. I mean, 6 or 7 games. 4 in a row. It's the first game he's played in 4 days, and what a difference maker he is in that lineup. Tough guy to return on, though. Syndergaard throwing 99 miles an hour.
2-2. Rivera sets up outside. Braun on a breaking ball grounds to right, and he's got him for out number 1. Noah Syndergaard, he has worked at a slow pace, but he has racked up a bunch of strikeouts. 8 punch-outs thus far.
He's not just a thrower. I mean, he throws hard, 98, 99, but he's mixing all 4 of his pitches today. Last couple innings he's been mixing in a changeup to the lefties, and just the power game of Syndergaard just continues to evolve, and he's becoming a pitcher, not a thrower. And that's a scary thing for National League hitters. I mean, as good as he is now, how good can he be?
1 gone. Here's Lucroy. When Syndergaard was traded from the Blue Jays minor league system to the Mets got him with Frank Viola. Now that doesn't seem like a good combination, does it? Viola, kind of a crafty lefty in his time. Syndergaard, the power right-hander. But to your point, Syndergaard has become a complete pitcher with the power.
Right.
And he credits Frank Viola for not just a style to pitch, but game planning, how to prepare for a start, trying to read hitters, all those little things that go into a successful start on the mound.
Yeah, and Frank Viola, sweet music Viola with the Twins. I mean, he evolved as a pitcher while he was in the big league. He came up with a changeup that completely turned around his career. Without that pitch, he was kind of a normal guy, but that changeup, the fastball, curveball for Frankie. So yeah, if anybody can speak to a young pitcher about learning on the job in the major leagues, it would certainly be him.
I think it was Frank Viola who really planted the seed with Syndergaard as well, that you need a little fire in your belly. You need to make yourself the underdog in these moments, because when a guy is throwing 100 miles an hour and he's a first-round draft pick, he really didn't deal with a whole lot of adversity until he got into the pro game. And then, the Blue Jays never really imagined him emerging as an ace. He had some flaws, and that's one of the reasons why they traded him. They liked him. He was a big prospect, but he wasn't an untouchable.
Flaws? He was 20 years old at the time. I mean, everybody has flaws at that age, right? You can learn a lot, a young guy, even with all the success that he's had in the major leagues.
No balls, 2 strikes on Lucroy. Right by him. 98-mile-an-hour fastball, strikeout number 9. 2 up, 2 down for Syndergaard in the 6th.
And it really looks effortless for him. I mean, good leverage. He throws downhill, and I mean, he's not good. Doesn't have that violent delivery. It looks like he's got a lot more in the tank if he needs it. And that one right on the edge. You talk about velocity and location. I mean, that's what Syndergaard's been able to do today. And then he'll drop the changeup on you at 90.
Wow. Which looks more like a power sinker.
Right.
If he has all of these pitches going, hitters have no chance. And Neuenhuis is starting to trend towards the no chance role right here. Neuenhuis has had a tough series against his old team. He's 0 for 9 with 7 strikeouts in this series.
Yeah, maybe trying too hard.
There's another changeup and checks his swing.
It was Neuenhuis in the 4th inning that Syndergaard broke out the changeup. He hadn't thrown any before that.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Syndergaard with 9 Ks through 6. And that's it. Down he goes. Back-to-back Ks. He's got Neuenhuis 3 times. 10 punch-outs. Thor and Thor Jr. Six innings, has not allowed an earned run, and 10 strikeouts thus far. And he just struck out back-to-back hitters to get through the top of the 6th. 3-1 Mets. We go to the bottom half now. And Brewers going to have a new pitcher on the mound. Chase Anderson is done after 5. Yan Marinez.
Yeah, first time we've seen him. He's been around a while, a little over a week, and Marinez spent some big league time with the Marlins, the White Sox, most recently with the Rays. 3 appearances with the Rays this year, and now getting his first opportunity with the Brewers. And you see his numbers, with the Tampa Bay Rays this year, 245 earned run average. Well, he got the big fastball and a slider, basically a 2-pitch pitcher.
Some of the other changes here. Aaron Hill will come into play 3rd. That moves Perez over to 1st, and you see Ramon Flores, who was playing 1st, now in center field. Neuenhuis is out. That's the double switch. So Craig Counsell probably wants to try to get a couple of innings out of Marinez if possible. And his first pitch as a Brewer is up and into Cespedes. Like the spotted owl, we haven't seen Yan Marinez. We've seen him on the bus and in the clubhouse, but finally getting into a game.
Yeah, he's warmed up in the bullpen a couple of times, but you got to believe he's excited to be out there. There's a cross up, and that one gets Lucroy. The life of a catcher sometimes, right? You got a new pitcher out there. He's probably not caught him too much. Maybe not at all, actually. So he's learning what his pitchers are going to be doing. Is right off the heel of the glove and knocks the mask off. And he was looking for a fastball.
Chase Anderson's day is over. He goes 5 innings, gives up 3 runs, all earned. Just over 100 pitches today for Anderson. It's been a while since Marinez was on a big league mound. His last outing came as a member of the Tampa Bay Rays. That was back on, that was May 3rd. I had to double check that. May 3rd is the last time he's pitched in a game.
Right.
Went an inning and 2/3 for the Rays against the Dodgers. Wow, look out. Boy, Marinez sails one over the head of Cespedes.
Yeah, the Brewers picked him up on May 12th. Fastball and right over the head of Cespedes, and you know, the Mets slugger didn't like that. Man, gave him the stare down. I don't blame him.
Wow.
I guess that was a little too close for comfort.
97-mile-an-hour fastball right across the bow.
Yeah.
So the count 3 balls and a strike. And a wave and a miss. Cespedes trying to launch one out of here.
Yeah, hung right in there, right? After getting one right at the top of the helmet.
Marinez has had major command problems, which is the reason why a guy with this velocity has bounced around so much. And he loses Cespedes. Lead-off walk here in the 6th inning.
No, that final piece to the bullpen has been a tough one for the Brewers so far this year. They had Sam Freeman. He started the year with the Brewers. Michael Kirkman replaced him, and Kirkman only had 1 appearance. Got sent out, and now Marinez gets a shot. So the Brewers continue to work with only 1 lefty in their pen.
Brewers do have some good news on the injury front in their bullpen. Sophia has more on that story. You've got Corey Knebel, Will Smith, all on the comeback trail at this point.
So for Will Smith, he did throw live batting practice yesterday, and Craig Counsell saying that without any setbacks, he could be back as soon as early June. And Smith will be sent out on a minor league rehab assignment to Brevard County starting on Tuesday. And what they really need to see from Smith is, of course, to see him in live action, but also they want to see him come in back-to-back outings. So we'll see how he does this week. Matt Garza threw his second bullpen after throwing on Friday, and Corey Knebel as well threw bullpen yesterday. So all making good progress, but Will Smith certainly the closest of the 3.
That's a good sign. That's going to be a really interesting piece coming back. Corey Knebel flipping the water bottle there. He's close as well. Really the same rhythm, same pattern to get Will Smith back on the field is the same for Corey Knebel. They have to first go down to the minor leagues, and then at some point they have to prove they can pitch in back-to-back games without any injury or any setbacks before they're called back up.
Well, all the controlled environment things for Will Smith have gone very well, and it's the uncontrolled things, the things you can't foresee. You go on a minor league rehab assignment, and you know, fielding your position, covering first base, you know, fielding bunts. Those are all things that is going to test that knee quite a bit. And it'd be nice to get those guys back to a bullpen. It's already been very good. I mean, no complaints about the bullpen for the Brewers.
Marinez, after this long layoff, he was pitching in AAA with the Rays this year. Had been in Durham, but it has been quite a long set for him, and we've been watching him in the bullpen going through some of the visualization as he's been unable to get in games, and he's been working at it before the games. Not full bullpens, but throwing off flat ground, just trying to keep the feel. But there's nothing that can replicate game speed. And you got to imagine, not only is he anxious to prove that he belongs here with a new organization, but you have to imagine that his command, which is already a concern to begin with, is not even close to where he would prefer it to be. Right off the end of the bat from Walker on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, out in front of that pitch.
'27-year-old Jan Marinez.
He's always had the big strikeout numbers, but as you mentioned, too many walks. That's why the earned run averages have been high.
Full count to Walker. Fouls it away. If you just look at Marinez's minor league numbers, he's averaging nearly 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's a great number. But he's walking over 5 batters per 9 innings. Too many walks. And that's why he's bounced around as he has. He was signed by the Marlins, came up with them through their system. Made it to the big leagues with the Marlins. That was back in 2010. And then he ended up with the White Sox. Since that time, he's been with Chicago. He split time between the Dodgers and the Tigers organization 2 years ago. And then last year was with the Tampa Bay Rays, mostly in the minor leagues with the Rays. Well, there's a good pitch, a fastball with some sink on it, a strikeout for Marinez.
Yep, 95 miles an hour with a little bit of movement on it. Now, so doing a good job after getting it to a full count, able to throw strikes to Neil Walker, who continues to struggle in the month of May. A little bit underneath, and Luke were able to hold on with a foul tip.
And now Marinez looking for the ground ball double play. Runner at first, 1 out. Here is Asdrubal Cabrera, who's had the big hit for the Mets today. And a 2-strike RBI, 2 RBI single in the 4th inning. The Brewers do a lot of scouting, international scouting, especially in Latin America. And Marinez got on their radar a little bit with his work this winter, pitching in the Dominican Winter League. He pitched out of the bullpen in the Dominican Winter League and kept his walks down, relatively speaking, compared to the rest of his career. Had an excellent strikeout to walk ratio. As Marinez comes back, he strikes out Cabrera, so back-to-back Ks after the leadoff walk.
Shaking off a little bit of the dust, and there's a slider that ended up right down the middle, but the speed is what got him, and out in front.
Two outs for Eric Campbell. This winter, Marinez strikeout to walk ratio was a little over 4-1. A big change for a pitcher who's had command problems. And there's a lot of pressure innings in the Dominican Winter League, all over the Caribbean in the winter. There's been a lot of players that have gone to winter ball and have had success there. Their confidence has elevated. There are a lot of major league players that play in the Caribbean, and we'll see. Maybe he can find something at age 27. Brewers are in that kind of year, the rebuild year, where they can take a chance on a guy like this to see if you can catch lightning in a bottle for a few years.
Yep, hopefully Derek Johnson can get to him and be more consistent with his release point. It's all about mechanics when you can't throw strikes on a consistent basis and to iron out the delivery a little bit.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He's trying to strike out the side here in the 6th inning. And he misses low. Campbell works at 2-2. I would imagine he's a pretty difficult guy to catch, though, right?
Everything all over the place, right? A lot of movement on everything. Yeah.
Power sinker, thumb buster.
Especially the first couple times you catch him.
Oh, good pitch. He punches him out with a slider. Welcome to Milwaukee. Juan Mariñez strikes out 3 after an opening walk. That was impressive. Look at that slider.
That's 3-1. We check in our minor league report. We go to Appleton and the Timber Rattlers, where Marcos Diplan last night against Kane City went 5 innings, 3 hits, shutout, and 7 strikeouts for him in 88 pitches. Over 9 games, he has a 5-1 record and a 1.56 earned run average. That was a 7-3 win for the T-Rats over the Cougars. And Diplan, if you'll remember, was acquired by the Brewers in 2015 in the Giovanni Gallardo trade with the Rangers.
Was a young pitcher at the time. Not many had heard of him, but he's starting to move his way through the organization. And congratulations to him. Good effort. Hernan Perez leads off Syndergaard's first pitch, and Hernan turns it around, a base hit.
Yeah, both of his hits today have come to right field. No surprise. That's where he does most of his work.
Syndergaard's been quite the story today for the Mets. The only run he's allowed was an unearned run in the first inning. Perez has 2 hits off of him today.
Almost picking that one right out of Rivera's glove, waiting back nicely and driving it, through the hole.
It is the 3rd time in this game the Brewers have had their lead man reach. And the tying run at the plate that gets by Rivera. And Perez on his way to second. See how they score that one. That'll be a wild pitch officially on Syndergaard. Pitch counted 98. A lot of pitches here in the 7th, but 10 strikeouts will do that. Bullpen is active for the Mets. It was Jerry Blevins loosening in the bullpen. Syndergaard has not yet been in a 3-ball count.
Amazing, isn't it?
But he's been in a lot of 2-2 counts and a lot of foul balls with 2 strikes. I think that's part of the high pitch counts. And of course, when you're striking out a lot of batters, you're going to have a high pitch count anyway. Brewers would like to get him out of the game and try to get into that Mets bullpen a little bit.
Yeah, which is no easy task to get to the bullpen either, as good as this rotation is. Bullpen's been terrific so far this year. And Syndergaard just threw a 2-ball, no-strike changeup.
And it's 2-1. Presley lined out his last time up. He had a long at-bat in the 4th inning. Runner at second. Brewers down 2. Right off the end of the bat. Change up again at 89 miles an hour. Out of context, you'd get a funny look if you saw an 89-mile-an-hour pitch come in and you called it a changeup. But with Syndergaard topping out at 99, it's right where he wants it, 10 miles an hour slower. 2-2 on Presley. And there's a base hit into left field. Conforto will get it back in. The Brewers have something cooking here in the 7th. Alex Presley with a single. 1st and 3rd with nobody out in the 7th.
Yeah, got his fastball after a couple of changeups. Got Syndergaard back into the count. It was 2-2 pitch. Fastball to Presley, and he's able to hit that one hard into left field. So both of the hits for the Brewers in this inning are opposite field base hits. Nice approach, nice level swing, and the Brewers have something going with nobody out.
Two on, nobody out for Ramon Flores, who drove in 3 yesterday with his first career major league home run. He hit a line drive bullet right off Syndergaard his last time up. Nice block by Rivera. Goes to second. Presley is out. Oh man, the tying run is eliminated. Presley thought he could advance. A good throw by Rivera.
Yeah, he bounced up quickly and made a good, accurate throw. It had to be. It was close. But Presley out at second base. I mean, kind of flat-footed. If you're giving a couple of crow hops, getting that secondary lead, I think he's going to be safe. But pretty close, a high tag. But Greg Counsell's not going to challenge it.
Counsell's out of challenges.
That's right. You're right.
But it is past the 7th, so you can ask the umpires to do it. But not the case here. That one hurts. Brewers have a runner eliminated off the base paths. First out of the inning after back-to-back singles.
Yeah, these are the things we were talking about when we came on the air. The difference, wins and losses in low-scoring, close games. You know, making mistakes. Don't want to be making outs on the bases.
And Flores a wave and a miss. 1-2.
You can understand you want to be aggressive to try and get into scoring position and maybe tie the game on a base hit, but not at the risk of getting thrown out.
3-1 Mets, 7th inning. Runner at third, 1 out. Flores trying to deliver him to the plate. And you know Syndergaard is thinking about a strikeout here. Try to chip away as best you can. Flores yesterday with a 2-run home run and a sacrifice fly to drive in 3. 2-2 the count. Down he goes. A strikeout when he needed one most. Syndergaard gets Flores for the 2nd out.
Yep, slider got him. Perfect pitch. Yep, down and in. That is a tough pitch to handle. A little bit out of the strike zone, but too close to take. It looked good until it gets about right there. Then it kind of dives down and in.
Strikeout number 11 for Noah Syndergaard. His career best is 13. 2 outs now. Aaron Hill, who came in on the double switch last inning, will bat for the first time. And he's greeted with a 99-mile-an-hour fastball.
99 miles an hour after 108 pitches, right? Pretty strong.
On the ground to Cabrera. Well, the Brewers run themselves out of a potential inning. 2 on, nobody out. Runner thrown out at second, and the Brewers come up empty. Noah Syndergaard, 7 innings, no earned runs, 11 strikeouts. Most likely done for the day. We turn it over to Citi Field and their presentation of God Bless America. Stretch time here in New York. Enjoy. Milwaukee Brewers baseball on Fox Sports Wisconsin is brought to you by Miller Lite, the original light Pilsner. Cheers, it's Miller time. And by the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. Check this guy out, Rock, down in Manhattan. All that movement, all that traffic, he stops right in the middle to check his phone.
That never happens here.
Jan Marinia is back on the mound. The Brewers come up empty. Boy, they had a chance in that inning against Syndergaard with runners at the corners, but Presley a little over-aggressive. He got thrown out at second on a pitch in the dirt. And Syndergaard with his 11th strikeout, he ends up getting out of the inning. Rivera Into right field, Mariñez has 4 in a row retired. Well, he has looked sharp so far after not pitching in a long, long time.
Yeah, after the walk to Cespedes, he has been very good. Hey, it's a great day to bring the family out to the ballpark as the Brewers host the Reds on Sunday, May 29th. Kids 14 and under will eat free, plus they'll also get a Paint Your Own Bernie bobblehead courtesy of Waterstone Bank. And to top it off, select tickets are 50% off as part of Spring Madness. Why not come out to the ballpark? All the deals.
School's almost over for many.
Weather warming up.
Great fun. Nothing better than summer in Wisconsin. Hope you'll make the Brewers part of your summer plans. Alejandro De Aza will pinch hit for Syndergaard. Another successful start for the Mets.
Weather's back in the 70s back home.
Yeah, talked to the family yesterday. They said it was pushing 80 yesterday. Went out on the lake. How about that?
Really?
It always happens when we're gone. Never get those lake invites when we're home, Rock. Why is that?
Snowing. Supposed to be nice in Atlanta in the mid to upper 80s when the Brewers get there tonight.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. We usually run into a little rain in Atlanta, but the forecast is good for now. We obsess over the weather, us baseball broadcasters, but we're not as bad as others as De Aza sends one to center. Flores with the glasses on makes a catch for the out. We only have to obsess half the time because we don't worry about it at Miller Park with the roof.
Yeah. Man, we have had some troubling weather in the beginning of the season this year at Miller Park, but or in Wisconsin, but not a single delay, and can't say that about our games on the road this year.
I've had a few weather problems on the road this season. Brewers do have a doubleheader. They have to make up a game in a game they lost at Wrigley Field earlier this season.
Had a rain-shortened game in Minnesota.
2 gone, Curtis Granderson. Takes a strike. 0-2 the count.
It's got to feel good for Mariñez, not only getting into a game finally, but throwing very well.
It has been 19 days since his last outing on a major league field. That was with the Rays. He's shown a good breaking ball. He got Eric Campbell on a slider to end the 6th inning. He has 3 strikeouts, all coming last inning. One and 2 to Granderson. Jan Mariñez. Released by the Rays, taken off their big league roster. The Brewers signed him. 2-2 to Granderson. 2 outs in the 7th, and down he goes. A breaking ball strike. And what a debut for Mariñez with the Brewers. 2 scoreless innings with 4 punchouts. Nicely done. Caught up. First inning, Jonathan Lucroy with a 2-out RBI single to give the Brewers the lead off Noah Syndergaard, who would get the fastball going early today, but it was quickly erased. Michael Conforto, long home run, his second of the series, his 8th of the year. That tied it at 1. Noah Syndergaard with 11 strikeouts across 7 innings, did not allow an earned run. And Syndergaard just 2 off his career high for strikeouts. The big hit was Asdrubal Cabrera, who drove in 2 with a single in the 4th, and it gave the Mets the lead. There's a familiar face, former Brewer Jim Henderson. He was the Brewers closer at one point. Shoulder surgery put his career in jeopardy, but he has resurfaced as a New York Met. Good for him.
Yeah, having a good year. Big strikeout totals for Henderson, and 2013, 28 saves for the Brewers. That's a rookie saves record for Milwaukee.
The Canadian Jim Henderson, terrific success story he is. Jim's now 33 years of age. Did not get a chance to pitch in the big leagues until he was 29. Had a shoulder surgery, his first shoulder surgery at the age of 25. Had a long road back. He had already been to AAA, had to go back to Single A and start the process over again. And then made it to the big leagues in 2012. Great testament of perseverance that he would even make it to the big leagues, but he pitched so well he ended up as the Brewer closer in 2013. And then started to have the shoulder problems again, Rock, and figured at that point that was going to be it for Jim Henderson.
Yeah, he's able to bounce back, and part of a very good bullpen here in New York. Best in the National League. Their bullpen ERA under 2.
VR, a swing and a miss.
It doesn't have that mid to upper 90s fastball anymore, but still able to get it done.
Henderson was in the Brewers minor league system last year, coming back from the surgery. VR pops it foul. Count stays at 3-2 on the Brewers shortstop. Jim was looking for a big league opportunity this year, so he signed with the Mets. Had a 4.55 ERA pitching for the Brewers AAA team last season in Colorado Springs. There's a strike called. Henderson dots the edge. VR is gone, and Henderson starts his outing with a strikeout.
Yeah, he's averaging about 13 and a half strikeouts per 9 innings, almost 14. And even though he doesn't have that big velocity, able to dot the I right on the corner right there to get VR.
Those were fun times with Jim Henderson and John Axford, the 2 Canadians in the bullpen. And Henderson took over as the closer for Axford when Axford started to struggle. Those two, you talk about some laughs. Man, those guys were hilarious. Always enjoyed being around Henderson and John Axford.
A couple of successful reclamation projects for Doug Melvin.
That's right.
Picking him up and getting him down in the minor leagues, and it turned out to be very productive for the Brewers.
Scooter Gennett off the end of the bat, a pop up and tough play. Get wrong turn by Walker, but he's able to recover. He turned to the left. He was actually running away from the ball. It looked like it had a little slice on it.
Well, able to recover and make a nice catch. Hey, MLB TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, delivers everything you've come to expect and more. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD. on over 400 supported devices. Visit MLB.tv for details.
Here's Ryan Braun now with 2 away. 0 for 3 in his return to the lineup. Brewers are trying to avoid the sweep. It's been a long time since they were swept by the Mets. You got to go back to the 2008 season. And the thing about it is, and as I mentioned when we hit the air, there are no moral victories, but the Brewers had a chance to win both games. They had leads in the 6th inning of each of the first 2 games. Mets with comebacks. Last night's was a walk-off win for New York. Those are hard to take.
Well, it really has been lack of offense, but you really can't pin it solely on the offense. I mean, they've been facing some pretty good pitching. The Cubs, the Mets. You know, these guys can deal. They can pitch, and there's a reason why they're near the top of the National League in earned run average. Can't give up too many runs. The Brewers pitching staff has done a good job. They're just not able to get over the hump. You know, a lot of low-scoring, close games.
Now the Brewers are going to have to do something to try to shake this game up. It feels like the Mets, even though the lead is only 2, just feels like they are in complete control of this game. The Brewers did put 2 on last inning, but the trail runner was immediately eliminated trying to take second base. Change the inning. Braun hits it sharply to center field. A base hit. Bounces off of Cespedes. So a single for Braun, and now the tying run will come to the plate.
Yep, a screamer for Ryan Braun. A pitch out away from him, and he hit it right back through the middle. Well, the Brewers alive here in the 8th, and Jonathan Lucroy representing the tying run. There it is, out away from him, and Ryan able to center on it. Watch him pull the hands in and get good extension. That's how you hit him.
Well, just a beautiful stroke. So Braun is back in his first game. He singles up the middle. Now Jonathan Lucroy as the tying run.
And the Brewers have out hit the Mets 7-4 today.
Lucroy has one of those hits. He drove in a run with a single in the first. Only run of the day. And Lucroy cuts and misses. All 7 hits for the Brewers are singles. Lucroy trying to change that. Brewers need a big hit. That's what's been lacking in this run. 5 of the last 6 losses for the Brewers have been 1-run losses. And 2 extra inning games. Chris Carter did not start today, available to pinch hit. Pitcher spot is now in the 5-hole, which is due up next. So if Lucroy could reach, it would give the power hitting Chris Carter, the league's number 3 home run hitter right now, a swing in this inning.
Yep, activity in both bullpens.
0-2. Facing his old battery mate, Lucroy, against Jim Henderson.
All right, that one right down the middle. That's crosshairs right there for Lucroy. He'd like to have that one back.
Another 0-2 to Lucroy. Braun takes off. Lucroy takes high. Throw to second is late. And Braun is in there with a stolen base.
I think it hit him right in the back, didn't it? I'm not sure that Cabrera even got a glove on that baseball. Let's check it out. What did it hit? Bronny with a good lead, a good jump, and does it get him?
Oh,
yeah, got him. Yeah.
Right on the back. Well, that has to sting a little.
Yeah, you think?
Well, he's there in scoring position. Lucroy trying to pick him up. Brewers need a run, need a big hit. The 1-2 and a swing and a grounder right back to the mound. Henderson's got it, and that will retire the side. So the Brewers strand another runner in scoring position. They've had chances in the last 2 innings and have come up empty. And we had mentioned Viola, who was largely responsible for the turnaround for Noah Syndergaard, and has a good man right there, Ron Darling. Yeah, Ronnie, good. If you ever see a signature from Ron Darling that says Ron, that's not his signature. He always signs it Ronnie. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I never got his autograph.
Yeah, well, you're a contemporary, so. Fans like us who kind of live vicariously through our heroes, we ask for autographs.
Okay.
Jeremy Jeffress on the mound. He's autograph worthy these days.
Well, it's been a while for Jeremy, and Craig Counsell's figuring he needs to get some work and to keep the Mets off the board to maybe come back in the ninth. Jeremy Jeffress last pitched on Wednesday against the Cubs. Suffered his first blown save of the season.
David Wright leads off for New York. This will be fun to watch here with the Brewer closer on, down 2 runs, but facing the heart of the Mets order, Wright, Conforto, and Cespedes. These are matchups that you love to watch unfold. And Wright muscles one into right field. That's going to fall for a base hit. Well, he jammed him, but Wright able to drop it in front of Presley for his first hit of the day.
Yeah, he's been going that way his last 3 times up. First 2 times he went to right field where fly balls, little cans of corn out and right, able to get on top of it. This one a little bit better. Not a bad pitch. You see where Wright makes contact down on the handle, but dumps it in front of Presley.
So right is on. And here is Michael Conforto. His home run in the first inning tied the game. His run scored in the fourth put the Mets on top. Asdrubal Cabrera drove in a pair on a 2-strike single to right. Conforto and Cespedes scored, and the Mets have led ever since. Slow roller, and Perez goes to second for the out. VR able to hang on to it. There was a lot of baseball showing out of that glove. A spin and a fire by Hernan Perez to get the lead man out. Good play.
Your conventional first baseman may not make that throw, but Perez, more of an infielder and very athletic. Look at the ground he covers, and pretty good play by VR. Perez put a lot on that throw, a little bit off the mark. He had to make an adjustment. Quick throw, and he got the lead runner. Good play.
A snow cone for VR. Perez started the game at third. He moved over to first after a double switch. Yoenis Cespedes gets a big hand as he's introduced. He was a big part of that 2-run fourth. He doubled. It was a little flare double into left. Changed the inning. Chase Anderson could have had a much better fate if that fly ball is caught. But he put it in the perfect spot in this expansive outfield at Citi Field. A strike to Cespedes. Cespedes comes in with 14 homers. His home run yesterday tied the game in the 6th. He has more extra base hits than he does singles. 22-20. And 14 of those are homers.
Sounds like Chris Carter.
Nobody does as much damage on breaking balls and off-speed pitches than Cespedes. And sometimes the most awkward-looking swings producing big results.
But as long as you keep your hands back, you have a chance to, have a little power behind that swing, just like you did yesterday on the changeup from Zach Davies. Out on his front foot, he was full, but kept the hands back and was still able to hit it out of the ballpark down the line and left. You don't get style points up there at the plate as much as players might think they do these days.
One and two the count. Jeffress trying to keep the Mets at 3 and give the Brewers a chance in the 9th. Only down 2. Jeremy Jeffress went from desperately needing a day off, having pitched in 5 consecutive games across 6 days for the Brewers, to now in the game down to needing some work.
Yeah, last pitched on Wednesday.
Oh, a defensive swing. Jeffress strikes him out with a big fastball. 2 outs in the inning. Hey, don't forget, tomorrow we got Mike Trout and the Angels against Prince Fielder and the Rangers. It's a game you can only see on FS1, and it all starts at 6:30 p.m. Central, or you can watch it live on Fox Sports Go. That's nationally televised baseball on a Monday night tomorrow on FS1. Prince Fielder's really having a tough year. Scuffling. And a bad second half last year as well. There's a lot of concern about Fielder's production with the Rangers. But Texas is playing well right now. The Rangers beat Arizona last night. They're a game and a half back of the Mariners in the American League West. Surprise team in that division is the Astros, a playoff team last year. They are dead last in their division, 10 games under 500. And Carlos Gomez is in a monumental slump for Houston.
Yeah, Prince Fielder hitting under 200 this year.
Very low on base, and he's not hitting for much power either.
Two homers.
Neil Walker with 2 away. Jeffers trying to get through this 8th inning. Looking ahead to the 9th for Milwaukee. They'll have a pinch hitter as Jeffers' spot is due up. And then Hernan Perez and Alex Presley. Those are the scheduled hitters. At some point, Craig Counsell would like to get Chris Carter an at-bat, but he'll probably save him until he'd represent the tying run, so the Brewers need a base runner, would be my guess. A shot, opposite field, base hit for Walker. Flores cuts it off, and stopping at third is Conforto. Now the Mets with 2 on after a base hit by Neil Walker. His first hit of the day.
Yeah, watch the way he waits back on his two-seam fastball from Jeremy Jeffers, trying to get away from him, but it's up in the zone. You see the shift, but Flores is able to get there quickly to keep Conforto from scoring and keeping Walker at first base.
Asdrubal Cabrera. It's already had a good day, can make it a great day with a base hit here. He drove in 2 runs that gave the Mets the lead. Jeffress starts him with a hook in there for a strike. On the ground, right to Perez, and that will retire the side. So Jeffress puts up a 0, and here we go to the 9th inning. The Brewers are down 2. Do they have a comeback in them today? The closer, Familia, getting ready. Well, the Brewers trying to ruin the party today on a Sunday at Citi Field in New York. Brewers baseball this afternoon on Fox Sports Wisconsin, presented by Potawatomi Hotel and Casino. Colin Walsh will pinch hit for the Brewers to start the 9th inning in the pitcher's spot. Changes defensively for the Mets. Cespedes will move over to left field. Terry Collins tightens up his defense with Juan Lagares, terrific center fielder, former Gold Glover. And the closer, Juris Familia, 14 out of 14. He got a save against the Brewers in the opener on Friday.
Yeah, tied for second in the league in saves. John Mark Gomez with the Phillies leads the National League with 16 saves. Coming into play today.
Familia was the winning pitcher last night. He pitched the 9th in a tie game, and then David Wright with the walk-off in the bottom of the 9th. He has been a tough customer to deal with. Colin Walsh starts it. Brewers need a base runner or 2. And a little half swing to the mound. Easy as it gets. 1 away in the 9th inning.
Well, it was going to be Carter had Lucroy been able to get on base last inning, but Craig Counsell wants to wait and save Carter to see if somebody can get on base and maybe he can tie it up.
Tomorrow's an off day for the Brewers, but back at it Tuesday night. Airtime 5:30, all 3 games of that series. Jimmy Nelson, Julio Teheran will get us started. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap from Atlanta beginning Tuesday night. Brewers will be back home at Miller Park Friday. Memorial Day weekend at Miller Park. Hernan Perez with 2 hits today, 2 out of 3. Both singles. Matter of fact, all the hits for the Brewers are singles. Big chopper, be a tough play, right bare hands, throws, and the ball is out of the glove of Campbell, safe at first.
It'll probably be a base hit. Good effort by David Wright, but just not able to get any accuracy on the throw. That might be the 3rd hit for Perez, and it is. There you go. And there's your tying run. Now you can get big Chris Carter in there. Good effort, just not a very good throw by Wright, and it will go down as a base hit.
Campbell fortunate, no injury there. Took him right into the running lane.
A good way to break a wrist right there. Watch the glove hand of Campbell and Perez coming all at the same time. Able to get it out of the way.
Oh yeah, you see that Perez knocked the ball out of his glove inadvertently, but that's what allowed him to be safe. So now the tying run is up. Alex Presley, who has hit the ball sharply twice off Syndergaard, had a single off him last time up. Hoping to get Chris Carter a swing in this inning with a chance to put the Brewers on top. This Mets bullpen has not allowed an earned run in this series. 13 2/3 innings thus far. On the ground, chance for 2. And that's the ball game. Presley bounces into a 4-6-3 double play. The Mets win, and the Mets sweep the Brewers. A final of 3-1 today. Familia with his 15th save of the year makes a winner out of Noah Syndergaard, who improves to 5-2. He struck out 11 today. Asdrubal Cabrera had the big hit, drove in a pair with a single. That was way back in the 4th, and that's all the Mets would need. Brewers get swept in New York. First time they've been swept by the Mets since 2008. Tough series here in New York. Now they'll focus on the Atlanta Braves coming up Tuesday. Time for Brewers Live. We check in with Jeff Grayson. He's in our Fox Sports Wisconsin studios. Jeff?